Hola clase, nosotros vamos a aprender dos verbos, saber y conocer hoy. Los verbos, como se dicen en inglés, son todos los dos, the verb to know in English. So, now we have to figure out when do we use which one? So, ante todo, Spanish has two verbs that cannot be used interchangeably. So let's look first at actually the forms of the verbs, and you're going to write these into your notes. The first verb is saber, S-A-B-E-R. Notice that you've known how to say yo sé and no sé, I don't know. So please pause the computer, the video, and write down the forms of this verb. Yo sé, tú sabes, él, ella, or usted sabe, nosotros sabemos, and then the vosotros, vosotras sabéis, and ustedes, ellos, or ellas saben. Okay, now that you're done writing those verbs down, look at the second verb, to know, conocer. Has a very kind of funny start with the yo form. They add a Z in here, so it says yo conozco. Try saying that, yo conozco. All right, tú conoces, él, ella, o usted conoce. Nosotros conocemos, vosotros conocéis, or ustedes, ellos, and ellas conocen. Do pause the video to take time to write down all of these forms. Now we're going to talk about what they mean. The verb saber means to know a fact. So if I know your phone number, it's a fact. If I know when Columbus came to America, it's a fact. If I know that your favorite color is blue, it's a fact. And so I'm going to say, yo sé, I know these things. The verb saber is used first and foremost to describe what you know about facts. The second thing is an idiomatic expression in English. We add in the word how. In Spanish, we don't add the word how in. We just say something like, yo sé bailar, I know how to dance. Yo sé hablar francés, I know how to speak French. Yo no sé hablar chino, I don't know how to speak in Chinese. Even if you know it or if you don't know it, use the regular forms of the positive and negative statements, but you're going to use the verb saber. So the verb conocer has more to do with being acquainted with something, to knowing something more in depth. So you might know a person well, not just their name. Maybe I know someone's name, but I don't know them. To know a person is conocer. To know their name is just a fact. If I know a place well, yo conozco París, I know Paris. Muy bien, yo conozco Boston. Pero yo no conozco Madrid. Unfortunately, I've never been there, so I don't know Madrid very well. It can also be being acquainted with something in particular, like a subject. Yo conozco muy bien las matemáticas. I know math really well. So sometimes I can be familiar with or affiliated with something like a subject, or perhaps say I know the music of the Beatles really well, or perhaps I know the artwork of Monet very well. In those cases, I'm going to use the verb conocer because I'm quite familiar with those things. I know them pretty in depth. It's not just a fact that I know about them, but I actually know those things. So, when the direct object of conocer is a person or a pet, the personal a is used. So if I say, ¿Conoces La Habana? Do you know the capital of Cuba? Do you know Havana? You do not need an a because it's a city. But if I say, ¿Conoces a Celia Cruz? Do you know Celia Cruz? Then you need that personal a. Okay? We know that, for example, Todd has a dog named Ellie, right? ¿Conoces a Ellie? Do you know Ellie? Yo no la conozco, pero yo quiero conocerla. I don't know her, but I'd like to know her. Okay, atención por favor. There are other verbs that are ZCO verbs, and these are just where the first person, the yo form, is conjugated like conocer. Conducir, to drive. Parecer, to seem. Ofrecer, to offer. Traducir, to translate. So you'd say yo conduzco, parezco, ofrezco, traduzco. So if you wanted to say the yo form of these verbs, you would very rarely say I seem, probably, but you may, for some instances, use that. But the other three, you would use the yo form pretty regularly. And so you need to know to change that to the ZCO. All right, here we have, you have to choose the right form of saber and the right form of conocer. I'm not asking you yet to be able to tell which one to use, because the left column you're going to complete with the right forms of saber, and the right column you're going to use the right forms of conocer. Excelente clase. Muy bien y adiós. Hasta mañana.